Okay, everyone, welcome. I'm so excited because we have Melissa on the podcast today, and she is absolutely incredible. We've had a virtual friendship, I would say, gosh, for maybe 5 years now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I've been following you for quite a while, and I've seen your growth over the years, which is incredible. So
Thank
I'm
you.
so
And I've seen
happy to be
yours
here.
too. Oh my gosh. Like we were just talking a little bit before we started recording. And so you started off at a day spa and then you worked for plastic surgeons. You've done more of the medical route. And then you recently went off on your own. You just celebrated 4 months, you said, by yourself.
Yes, 4 months as a solo esthetician in my own studio, something I've wanted to do for a really long time, and just excited that I'm finally able to take that step.
I'm so proud of you because you have over 20 years of experience. And how cute is the name of her studio? It's In Skin Studio, which I think is adorable. I love that. I've seen all of your pictures, your before and afters. Like, I mean, you are absolutely killing it and you have been for a really long time. So I think it was time for you to go off on your own. So if you don't mind, for the listeners that, aren't following you, tell them a little bit about you.
Yeah. So, like Katarina said, I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, a very long time, and I've seen so many different growths over the years and changes in this industry, which is crazy, but super exciting because it's always growing. I've always had like a really big interest in skincare since I was little. I used to actually watch my mom do her skincare routine. And yeah, she was so diligent. She had like cleanser, toner, moisturizer, like all of the steps. And I think, I don't know, it just stuck in my head. And I was always having jobs at like Shoppers Drug Mart in the beauty section, or I was always into beauty. And I don't have the typical story that most estheticians have where they say, I got into this because of my own skin and like struggling with acne or that kind of thing, and then it gets them interested in this industry because they want to clear their own skin. So I don't have that story. I've actually always had pretty decent skin,
I
luckily.
was gonna say your skin is glowing even through the camera.
That's a lot of genetics. I think my mom and dad have great skin too. So mine was just, it kind of fell into my lap. And it was just something that someone was like, you would be so good at this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I went to aesthetic school and I just fell in love, and it just came really, really natural to me. And so that's where I started. And I, like you said, started at day spas, doing your pedicures, your waxing, and kind of grew my experience through that. And then I started to get into more medical aesthetics. And I worked for a plastic surgeon, which was incredible and where I honestly learned so, so, so much. And then it was finally time to go out on my own. Something, like I said, very scary. I'm sure a lot of people say that,
Yeah.
but definitely something that was an end goal for sure.
Yes, and you needed it. Honestly, I mean, I've been following you for a long time. You're so good at what you do. It's just time, like I think you hit a place where it's like you're helping other people grow versus you're halting your growth. And I think you hit that level where you're like, I'm maxed, and this is where you finally get to spread your wings and fly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely agree.
And you're in London, Ontario, right?
Yes, London, Ontario, Canada. Small little town, small but big, we like to say.
I love, I think you are officially the first Canadian on the podcast.
Okay, now I feel really special.
I know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait, hold on. I think she is. I have a couple of other people planned, but yeah, you're number one.
That's
So
amazing.
yay,
I love
I'm so
that. Thank
excited.
you. I feel
You're
very
so
honored.
welcome. Yeah, we actually have a pretty good amount of Canadian listeners, which is really cool. So that's awesome.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so I'm really excited about the topic that you and I have chosen today. So we really wanted to talk about the difference between result-driven treatments and then just trending, which is right now in our industry, I feel like it's almost like divided because of skin influencers. And I'm not sitting here trying to drag them down, but I
Mhm.
do want to say there is a difference between seeing an esthetician and then seeing, someone that's an influencer that uses something that works for their skin.
Absolutely.
They're very different, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like
It's
we
very
work with
different.
skin all day. We see, anywhere from, I mean, whenever I was working for someone, I was seeing anywhere from 8 to 12 people in a day. That's what, like at least we'll play it down, 40
Mhm.
people in a week. So, I mean, that's a lot of experience with other people's faces, as I'm sure you have as well, versus an influencer that sees their self and their skin and what works for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's a lot to do with people wanting quick fixes. Like they really want a quick fix, and so they hop on social media, whatever that may be for them, and they're seeing, these influencers who just do that. That's their job. They influence you, and their skin looks amazing. And so, well, if they're talking about it and their skin looks amazing, it must work. So I'm going to try it for myself. But I think people just what we need to do on our end, obviously, is teach this, which we do. But I think we need to sit back and look at like, who you're hearing this information from. Is it somebody that has credentials? Did they go to school? How do they know that this is going to work? And that what works for one person doesn't always work for the next person. So just because it worked for this girl's skin doesn't mean it's going to work for the next girl's skin, right? I think going to a professional is going to be hands down always the number one route to go, because they're going to get to know your skin on a different level, ask you questions, know your health history, and know things about you that a stranger online doesn't know.
Exactly. That's our whole thing is if you want to get to your results and your end goal and you don't want to waste your money on going into Sephora and you're looking at all of the products, which are beautiful. I mean, they do a great job with their advertising and their branding. I'll give them that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, sometimes
It's
even
such,
I am like, do I need that?
I know.
Like, that's really pretty. Like, do I need that? And then, that's kind of the difference is we go through and we look at products and we do research and we find things that have clinical studies and clinical data. And then we use it on hundreds of people. And then we see what works. And we're like, okay, this one's the quickest for this. This one's the quickest for that.
Mhm.
These are some different cocktails that we have that deal with XYZ. And we personalize it to you versus someone just says, hey, this K beauty product is super great and works for me. And then you order it on like Amazon or something, and then you don't even know if you're getting it like the real thing.
Actual product. Yes, 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 exactly. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And like I said, I try and preach that all the time. I think it's getting better. I think people are realizing, like, I do think that sometimes there's too many voices in our industry
I
that
agree with
maybe there
that.
shouldn't be, and that maybe we're not given enough credit sometimes. But I do think that that's definitely getting better with people interested and being more involved in their skin health.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think past COVID, I think more and more people were like, okay, I want to focus more on my skin. I want to
Mhm.
focus more on my skin health. And I do feel like that's kind of when the influencer and estheticians, like, and professionals kind of split. And a part of me always puts myself in someone else's shoes where I think about, yes, I understand if you found this amazing product and it worked for you, but you have to understand that you can't just preach it to every single person and that that's going to be their fix because
Right.
that's the thing is that we're all so different. So on that topic, I want to talk about face taping, beef
Mm,
tallow, all the things. I was like, let's just rip that band-aid off right now.
yeah.
How do you feel about face taping? Because I have a lot of opinions, but I'm curious what you have.
So if you're asking how I feel about it, like taking the place of Botox,
Yes, taking the place of Botox.
it doesn't take the place of Botox. Absolutely not. I mean, and there's no hate towards it at all, but essentially it's a Band-Aid. You're putting it on, you're sleeping at night, you wake up, maybe your lines are smoothed, but then you go about the day and you're making facial expressions, they're just coming right back. So it's not a permanent fix. It's not even a more than you sleep fix, really. So it's not replacing Botox long term. And I know it's huge right now and I see it everywhere. And a lot of influencers are definitely talking about it. I even feel like if you're into more natural and you don't want to go the injectable route, which is totally fine, there's other things that are better. Microneedling is natural and that's going to naturally stimulate collagen to help smooth the fine lines and wrinkles. So you're better off to go that route. Using a retinol at home, those are things that will actually give you results long term. So
Yes, I
Botox, or sorry, skin taping, no, that's out.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I think there's some people that, they really feel like it helps. So, we're never here to knock anything.
No.
If that's something you love, we're just here to give you educated advice here. But this is what I think. I think you're putting something really adhesive and it's sticking to your face. And then every single day you're pulling it off. So you're causing this friction and you're pulling at the skin. I don't think that we have the clinical data yet to
Hmm.
support that it does, you know what I mean, make a
Yep.
difference long term versus, like you said, like microneedling, chemical peels, even using glycolic, lactic acid, a retinoid at home has way more clinical data than it does, face.
Hmm. No, absolutely. And you're right too. Like I've even seen a lot of videos where they're taking the tape off and it does look like it's actually pulling at their skin. It looks painful. Like that, remember that peel off mask that went viral?
Yes.
Black one? It looks like so painful to take off.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it was so painful. I mean, I tried it. I'm sure you did too. I was like, this is horrible. Like, and my skin was red. I swore it was like waxing my own skin,
Yeah,
ripping
essentially.
off,
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
ripping off my peach.
It probably was.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then I think personally, beef tallow is like the new coconut oil. Essentially very similar, in consistency to me. It's causing acne, clogged pores, all the things. What's your take on this?
I'm not quite getting the, like where that came from. I'd like to know where stuff like this stems from, actually. I wish
I
someone
would
would be
too.
like the originator and like come out and be like, I started this, like who started this? Yeah, it's for cooking. And it's great for cooking. Actually, it's become really popular for cooking. Maybe that's where it started. I'm not too sure, and I get the appeal. I'm sure if someone's very dehydrated or dry, I bet you it feels very soothing, but so would a great, science-based back moisturizer that I could provide you as well, right? And then you don't have to worry about the feel, the greasiness, the smell, it clogging your pores. And the acid in it that is really not meant for our skin, I'm sure it's going to, end up with some compromised skin eventually as well. So I am also, again, to each their own. I don't want to knock anybody, but I definitely think there's better alternatives than beef tallow.
No, I agree. And I also think about beef tallow. I saw a girl, she had it just like on her bathroom counter. And I don't know about you, but I've cooked with it for years. So it's in my
Mhm.
fridge. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, you have this like beef fat that is made to be stored in your refrigerator and you're keeping it like in a humid environment in your bathroom. I see bad things happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's, yeah, not a trend that I will be hopping on anytime soon, that's for sure, or recommending.
Are there any trends that you've been dealing with a lot in your studio, or you feel like that have been coming up that you're like, hold on, we have to address this?
Yeah, I mean, beef tallow was one of them. I feel like that's not as big, and more so that I was hearing that their derms were recommending it,
Interesting.
which I thought really which was, yeah, it was really interesting. Like a dermatologist is like, I don't know. So I did have that like come up a few times. Other than that, I think the only other one that I get a lot is like microneedling devices at home.
Yes, I agree with that.
Using
Yes.
the at-home rollers, like why can't I just do that? What's the difference? That sort of thing. I feel like that comes up a lot because there is some like even reputable companies that sell them for at home, right? So I guess in the mind of the consumer, they think, okay, well, this company is reputable. They, have other great products. They're selling an at-home microneedling device. Obviously, it should be good to use. So, it's just me educating them on how it is a very, very different treatment than an in-clinic microneedling. And you won't get the same results. But results aside, it's more so to me about just the sterileness of doing something like this at home.
Right, I agree with that because I mean the derma rollers, I mean, I feel like most people kind of know now, it causes micro tears in the skin. Not good for you. We don't recommend it. If you're going to use it, use a tiny one and you can do like your hairline and stuff, even then, like still make sure it's really, really clean and sterile. But yeah, there's just something so special about having the skin pen, or whatever microneedling device that you have, that what we do is we basically make sure that we're hitting a certain depth where we want to stimulate collagen collagen, a lot of people think harder is better and that you should like have blood everywhere. And that's not necessarily what you should do. I mean, unless you're like really ripping up a scar tissue, you know what I mean? Because you're really trying to break up that fibrous tissue. But
Yeah.
the whole purpose of doing microneedling is to create a very micro wound to stimulate collagen. And so at home, I don't think that you would be able to get the same results.
No, definitely not. The depth wouldn't, like for you to get that depth at home, you'd have to.
Yeah, that would hurt also. I mean, I'm sure you've microneedled yourself. I've microneedled myself.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not, even when you're numb, it's not like a comfortable experience that you
No.
like to do on yourself.
I feel like doing anything on yourself always hurts more. Like inflicting pain on
Always.
yourself is so
Yes,
much
because you
harder.
know it's coming.
Yes. And like if someone else is doing it, you're just like, toughen up, it's gonna be okay. Don't say anything.
Right? Like,
You
it's
just do it.
okay. Like, well, too, I feel like if I'm paying for it, I'm like, okay, I gotta be, you know, I'm like, I asked for pain. It's okay. This is
Exactly.
what we're supposed to
Exactly.
do. Yeah. All right. Sorry. I'm just looking over all of my little notes here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, let's see. So I have some notes here that we could talk about. High frequency device, a red light, which you guys have a LED light, right?
I have an LED light. Yep.
Okay, perfect. We can talk about that. And I wrote down the illusion of natural results versus like clinical results. So, what actually is clean versus what is natural. And then I thought if you want to talk about some of the stuff that you offer, you know what I mean, in clinic, kind of promote yourself.
Sure.
And I know that you just recently brought in a new laser, right? So
I
if you want,
did.
yeah, so if you want to talk about that a little bit, we can go into
Yeah,
that.
that would be amazing.
Perfect. I'll kind of segue into it whenever we start talking about clinical things and like what's the difference and all
Sure.
that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to talk about red light devices. What do you think about red light? What's your take on everything there?
I think it's absolutely great. I use one myself and I offer it in my studio. So I carry Saluma, which is a great device, FDA, Health Canada approved. And I incorporate it into pretty much all of my services. I think it's important. It's also a time for the client to relax. I just think it's crucial that you kind of educate your patient that it's something that needs to be done with consistency. So I feel like a lot of people, will buy the at-home ones, thinking I'll pop it on my face once a week and I'm going to get these great results. And it's something that you need to do every single day, even like it's just 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes every single day to get that result that you're looking for. But I think it's a great option and a great natural option for a lot of people and something easy that you can do yourself at home.
Yes.
I know you love LED light. I see.
Oh my gosh, I love LED light. I use it everywhere. Ever since I'm hoping I'm not, but I'm kind of going into hypothyroidism. And so ever since then I've been like, okay, red light all over my body. I'm like
Yeah,
holding one on my neck. I'm doing
that's
everything
amazing.
possible. Yeah.
That's the thing. You can use it pretty much anywhere. Like there's so many different options and yeah, it's great. I think another big thing is educating the client on, I mean, maybe not everybody understands wavelengths and the irradiance of it all, like, but explaining that is important because I've had tons of people reach out to me and be like, oh, Melissa, tell me what you think about this LED mask from Costco.
Like you're like, no.
I'm like, no, I sell one. They're like, yeah, but what's the difference? Because this one's $100 less. So I have to explain to them, like, I've done the research on all the Costco LED masks so that I can tell them that, like, the main important thing is the irradiance. That's the power of the LEDs, and you want that to be powerful. And these ones are only giving like 10, where mine has 30. So, I think that's important too, knowing those things so you can educate your client on what is a good LED product that they can use at home versus one that you'll buy on Amazon or in Costco.
What is a device that you have that you recommend to your clients? I know you said the Saluma, but what's
Yeah.
one that
So
a
I
mask that you
sell the
recommend?
Equinox Pro LED mask. Yeah, we
Okay.
actually just brought it in like 2 months ago, and they have a face and a neck décolleté one. I believe they do have a body one too, but I don't sell that. And it's great. We've been loving it.
That's amazing. And it's purple, right? I
It
think I
is.
saw it's
Oh yeah.
purple. It looks so pretty. So if you guys
Yeah.
are looking for a really good LED mask, you guys will have to link it down below in the show notes for
Yeah,
your website.
absolutely. I know
Yeah.
so many people have the Omnilux. That's really a popular one too. I would say
Oh,
they're fairly similar. Like they're pretty similar. The only difference is the Equinox has the yellow light.
oh, that's nice.
Yes, and it mixes them. So you can do like red and yellow at the same time or blue and red at the same time. So that's kind of the main difference I think between the two.
Oh yeah, that's a big difference because that's the thing with the Omnilux. I'm grateful they were sweet and sent it to me, but so I have the red one and then I have the blue one. And so I can't like just switch it, you know. So I
Oh, I didn't
recently
know that.
yeah, so they're separate. So you have to buy two different ones.
Oh, okay. So this might,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a big difference then. Yeah,
huge difference. Yeah, so it's actually you're saving a lot of money if you go with the one Melissa has versus the Omnilux then because you're
yeah.
able to treat a variety of different things. And for our listeners that maybe aren't educated, do you mind kind of saying a little bit about the difference between red, yellow, and blue light?
For sure. So your red light is going to be, your light that's going to help to stimulate collagen, so great for aging, fine lines, wrinkles. Your blue light's more for your acne, congested, oily skin type, so it's going to help to kill that bacteria on the skin. And then yellow is great for brightening and pigmentation. I don't know if the Omnilux has near infrared.
I think they claim that they do,
Okay.
but I'm not super sure. I've been using the current body one the most and I know that one does, but that
Yeah.
one again is just red and infrared.
Okay. So the Equinox does also have near infrared as well. Near infrared, I guess, to me, it's more usually used for pain and healing.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess for the face, the healing aspect of it, I guess pain comes sometimes when you're healing, you're in pain, depending if it's from a treatment or something. So, that can also be really beneficial as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I think that red light therapy is so beneficial. I think as long as you're consistent with it, right? Like there's so many people that will use it just once and they're like, "Well, it didn't make a difference." Like
Hmm.
you have to. I mean, I wish I did it every single day, but I probably do it 3 to 4 times a week and I've noticed a huge difference in my skin and I don't know about you, but I did the tanning beds whenever I was like very young. And so
Yeah.
I've noticed like I have pigmentation coming up on my décolleté really bad. So I've been doing my red light like crazy and I feel like it's kind of kept it at bay and maybe
Yeah.
help brighten it
Oh,
a
yeah. It'd
little
be
bit.
amazing for that. I think we all did the tanning beds when we were young. It was just the
Wish I
era.
could go back. I know I'm starting to get like freckles in places where I'm like, yeah, that's the only way that sun has ever seen it is
We
with
had
the
a
tanning
tanning
bed.
salon in the plaza across from my high school.
Oh
So
my
literally on our lunch, we would waltz over there and like do a 20-minute tan on our lunch. Oh, come on.
gosh. I remember whenever it was so cool to, do you remember there were levels to the beds? I don't know if you guys had
Yes.
those. Yes, it was so cool to get up to the bronze bed. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm at the bronze level. I'm like, oh, this is so bad for you. And now this is what we do for a living. Like,
Right?
now
Totally.
we're trying to
Was there
reverse all
still,
the
like,
things
I
we
don't know
did.
where you live. Like, well, you live in Florida, right? Okay, so I mean, it's warm there all the time, anyways, not
All the
here.
time.
Like, is there still tanning salons in?
Yes,
Huh?
yes, there is. Yeah, it's not as prevalent, but there definitely is. Especially, I feel like in the South, because I used to live in Seattle, Washington. And
Mhm.
so the way I would describe it is the West Coast is like ahead of the times. And I still, to this day, in the South area, I still explain what dermaplaning is. Like,
Really?
that's kind of how we're behind. So
Okay.
every time like I bring something in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Guys, we've been doing this a long time, but I'm so happy you're excited like I am about it." But it just takes a long time. So I feel like eventually, maybe in the next 10 years, tanning beds will be completely out of Florida, but
I
I don't
feel like
know.
definitely taken a little bit like of, they're not as popular as they used to be for sure, even here. But I agree with you. Canada is also very behind with a lot of things. So
Are they?
there's so many things. I'm just like, why? There's things I want to offer or bring in to my studio and I can't. And I'm just like, we're just so behind over here. But I also think like Health Canada is very, very strict compared to like your government. Health Canada it just takes forever. So people give up.
I agree. Yeah, it's supposedly too extremely expensive as well. So I know that it's just But also, I think of that as sometimes a good thing and
For
sometimes a
sure.
bad thing, right? I see it as a little bit of both, maybe, because I know that you guys have more regulations on different things. I do know whenever I lived in Washington, I loved going up to Vancouver with all their trade shows, side note, and I would go up and buy lidocaine because you need a prescription here for it. So I would go and get like the 10%, the 20%
Really? Oh
lidocaine.
my God,
Yeah.
that's too funny.
I know. I would always be like, okay, I'm going over the border. I'm gonna go get my lidocaine.
Lidocaine. Oh, I love that.
So speaking of treatments and things like that, so obviously we offer professional treatments, right? To help with collagen production, all the things. What's like one thing right now? I think I just saw that you brought in a new laser. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of the difference as to why getting, that laser treatment is so much better than doing, all these trendy at home things?
Yeah. So I love lasers.
Same, they're incredible.
I think they're so, so great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of other treatments too, but so I knew when I started my studio that a laser had to be a part of it. Where I was previous, the plastic surgeon that I worked for, I primarily did a lot of lasers. And so leaving there and opening my studio and not having any was like shocking. It was like it was so crazy. I just remember like I'm only offering facials and peels and then micro channeling. And then I'm doing like lash lifts too. I was kind of looking for some things to fill in as well. And I just don't have a laser. And I'd have so many people reach out to me. They're like, Melissa, when are you bringing in a laser? Are you bringing in this laser? And then I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, okay, well, can you refer me?
No.
So of course I'm going to refer them to
Of course, you want them to have the best results, but you're also like,
like
gosh, I
broke
know
my
your
heart.
skin. I know the results I can give you.
I know, and it broke my heart because like having to do that because in the back of my head I'm also thinking like, well, who knows? Like if they're maybe they're the type of people that want a one-stop shop and they go to this other place and they like the laser and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to stay here and do my other things too.
And then you lose your people that you love.
So, I think of all these different situations. So I was like, I need this laser. And I was like, okay, I have to make this work. And so I've worked with so many different great laser technologies. Sciton, who I still do love their lasers. The last clinic I worked for was a Sciton KOL. So I used to do preceptorships and speak on their behalf. And I think they're great. But when I looked at my business and what my clients' needs were for their skin, I also was doing a lot of research on just in our area what is offered around me, and I wanted something unique and different. I wanted something very safe and very effective at the same time. And a big thing for my clients is downtime always. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have the time. I don't have the
I
time.
know. That's mine too. Nobody
Yeah.
ever wants downtime. I'm like, come on, give me at least 3 days of
Yeah.
downtime. Like,
I'm
please,
trying to
3 days.
explain, like, you need to have this, like, look to create the change. Like, it's part
Right.
of the process. I promise in the end it'll be worth it. And it always is. But I know that was a big factor and price too, really, at the end of the day. Like, people are invested in their skin and they will spend the money, but I still think that that's something always in the back of their head, especially with lasers, because they are also on the pricier side. So I did a lot of research. And the laser that I decided to bring in, the company was fantastic, and they actually let me demo it, which is huge to me because
That's huge. They don't usually let you do that.
to me that means that they're confident in what they have to offer. And so they brought it into my studio, and I was able to bring in 4 models. And I demoed it, and I couldn't believe the results after one treatment. I was blown away. So I was like, this is it. This is for me. And the upside is that no one has this laser in London
That's incredible.
yet, which,
Congratulations.
yeah, I think that's great. It's nice to be exclusive. And I know it might not be forever, but I think in the like beginning, it's important to be, or it's nice to be inclusive because you're always remembered as the first person that had it, right? And like an expert,
100%.
if you will.
Yes.
So I brought in the Aerolaze Neo Elite.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's such a great treatment. It's a YAG. It's a 1064.
I
It's
love a 1064. You just can
yeah,
treat everyone and do everything, and
everything.
you
Like,
don't have to worry about if
so
they're
good.
lighter skin or darker skin. I mean, you still care, right? We still worry,
Of
always
course.
worry, but it's so much safer.
Yeah, it's great. It's so safe. Like you said, all Fitzpatrick's, painless, literally painless, and no downtime. Yeah, I couldn't, it was like a perfect match and it covered all of the things that I see most in my clinic. I think it has like 36 indications for the skin. It's
That's
insane.
incredible. So it helps with pigmentation, helps with redness,
Yep,
pores, all the
yep.
things. Now,
Acne, active
acne,
acne.
active acne?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like you can remove skin tags, warts. You could even treat nail fungus if you wanted to. Psoriasis. You can do hair removal with it, laser hair removal. Like it's just, it's possibility, like the endless possibilities. And then another big selling feature for me was that it can be combined with anything.
Oh,
So I
that's
can come in, you can come in and I can do an aerolase with a bio repeel. I can do an aerolase with an algae peel. I can do an aerolase with a microneedling. Like I can combine them in the same treatment. So that was huge for me because I think combination treatments are really big right now. And that's something that people are looking for. And like you're getting quicker results because you're combining multiple devices or treatments together. So I'm super
that's
excited to have this device. It's very versatile. So
That's amazing. Congratulations. I know that was probably an investment, but I know that you
it
did
was.
it for, yeah, you did it for your patients. And you know what? Like, you're going to be so busy with it because of it. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about that laser.
Yeah, same. I'm so excited. I just needed to get here.
Yeah, you're like, please, I'm ready. Let's go. Well, and then you can feel complete because I get it. Half of my practice in Washington was like lasers and then
Hmm.
it was facials. And then I left and then I was like, okay, what do then I became more of like the facial girl and then I got back into lasers again. So that was like 50-50. And it's hard. It's hard to leave those devices where
It
someone's
is.
like, oh, I have this little, broken thing here. I have this sunspot. What can we do? And I'm like, well, I could do like four chemical peels, but man, if I could do my laser just once, I could probably get
Yeah,
rid of that.
that's it. There are little things like that where you're just like, oh, 1 second.
Yeah, just let
My
me just.
God.
And then they're so excited. They're like, that was it. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's
Like, here
it.
we go.
I
Like
know.
I know with melasma and things like that, it's not necessarily like that, but with certain
Right.
things, it's so nice.
No, it is nice. But what you said you before, what you said before about 50-50, that's important too, because it is 50-50. Like
Mhm.
it's not all lasers. There's great things about facials. So many great things. Like nothing beats like a deep hydration facial. And you can see changes with that if you're consistent with it too. They're both like there's so many great different treatments and modalities. So it's nice to have the options to offer all of them or a lot of them if you can.
Yes, I
Otherwise,
love
they will go somewhere else and find it.
No, everybody's going to come to you because I bet you give them an amazing experience. And that also, I think, is the difference. Whenever we're talking about trending skincare and we're talking
Mhm.
about all these trends and things like that, whenever you see a specialist, that's our goal is to guide this through with you. You
Exactly.
just said, Melissa, how you basically were like, I did research and made sure I got the best of the best laser. You tried everything to make sure that it would fit your clientele
Mhm.
and everybody around you. And I think that's what makes, us stand out in the industry versus anyone that's, just is trendy or anything like that is whenever you see a professional, that's our goal is to help you get the best results. Like if you come in with a problem, our goal is to try to fix it as much as possible, right? As much
Right.
as we can.
Of course, yes. That's always the end goal for sure.
So trying to think of anything else. Can you think of anything?
Um, I know
I
we had
have
like a bunch of things I'm trying to think of. Oh, I think we mentioned something about like, I mean, we kind of talked about it, but it is kind of like we were talking about how consistency is key.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Oh, we also talked about how being an esthetician is more than just doing like facials.
Yes, I like that. I think we can segue into that from this too.
And then we also were, I think, had like doing like or what best anti-aging treatments.
I like that. Yes. Anti-aging. Thank you. Perfect. And on the note of lasers and, facials and all that, I think people think sometimes that being an esthetician is just being in the room, like that dark room with no windows, right? And we're just doing facials all day, and that's kind of it. I don't know about you, but I literally text my clients constantly. I'm checking in on them. I'm editing their routine. I'm helping them through things. I'm building a relationship with them. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time you're going through life with them, right? Like you've
Mhm.
seen them have babies, you've seen them get married, you've seen them with melasma, with acne, all these things, and you're helping them through it. So, I mean, how do you feel about that? Don't you feel like we're stereotyped just a little bit?
I think there is so much more to it though. There's more than just the facials and the dark room and slapping creams on somebody's face and recommending products. It's more than that. You're actually changing somebody's skin, and they come to see you, and a lot of times when they're dealing with things like acne or melasma or scarring, they're actually in a very vulnerable state. Like they come to you very vulnerable. A lot of people will come in and they'll even say it right away, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my skin right now, it looks awful. That's the first thing they say when they lie down on your bed, right? Yeah.
Blake.
So I think it's so important that, we're also there, to support them through the process of their skin journey. And yes, we're there to give them the facials and the peels and the advice and the at-home skincare, but we're there also to support them through that and encourage them to keep going. So it's so much more than that. And I'm sure a little bit of therapy along the way too.
Yes. It's our second job title that we did
Pretty
not
much.
get licensed or
Yeah.
trained for.
It is, yeah. So I think it's definitely so much more. A lot of times they might come into your treatment room and they might be stressed. And, them being there, they leave after, your 60-minute facial, and maybe they're not stressed anymore. You've helped them get through that, right? So it's so much more than just a facial, and you have to have that mentality and not think like, oh, I just want to give this facial, get my money, see you later. Like there's so much more to it. You build relationships with these people. So that's, one of the reasons why, I don't know, I love this job. I'm sure it's one of the reasons why you love it too.
Same. It's so special, like just the relationships like that I have with people. Like I'm kind of going through a transition period, and so I'm not seeing all my people, and I'm like, I miss them. Like I miss my
Yeah.
people. Like they're so, honestly, like of course I love my job. I love what I do, but you have to think some of these people, you see them monthly or you see them bi-monthly. And I don't know about you, but I have family that lives out of state and see them that often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm seeing these people sometimes more than I am seeing like my cousins or my aunts and uncles. And so you become attached, you build
Hmm.
a relationship with them, and we truly do care and want to give you the best results. And I agree with you. There's some estheticians that I've worked for that are like, I'm only a laser tech. Like I
Hmm.
only do lasers. That's the only thing I'm going to do. And in the beginning of my career, I thought that was it. That's all I wanted to do. I was like, no, something about in our industry. It's like, no, I'm too cool. I'm too cool to do, just
Yeah.
like facials or whatever. And I slowly realized I was like, no, I love creating an experience for someone, even if they're numbing and I'm just giving them a little temple rub.
Hmm.
There's something about helping someone else zen. And if you just think about like, hey, like, I don't know, my husband the other day, he literally just like touched my head and I was like, oh my gosh, like it just that little bit of love and tender love and care and just showing someone, hey, I'm showing up for you. I'm giving you my undivided attention and
Hmm.
I'm here for you. It really does make a difference. I think especially too in such like a technological world, you know?
Yes, absolutely. No, I agree with that. And on the note of also, thinking that all you wanted to do was lasers, I was the exact same way. And I'm like, there's a place for all the other things though. And it kills me when, people will kind of, I guess, kind of put a name on facials, like say that they don't do anything, or they're calling them floofy, or you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they're, yeah, go do your floofy facial or whatever and come back to me when you're ready to get your face zapped and get some real results, that sort of thing. But it's not like facials do so much. They really do. That's my dog in the background. He's barking at
That's
me.
totally fine. My AC keeps coming on and off. So you're totally fine. I'm sure you've seen
He's
my cat.
barking at me. He's like, what are you doing? Get off.
He's like, Mom, I'm important. No, but I agree with you. That's the thing too, is whenever I was training some of the girls, like in the spa I worked at, some of them were like, I don't need to learn any of your facial massage. I don't need to learn any of this or whatever. Like, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. I can edit it. And also I love that it's organic.
But
You know what I mean?
I want him to stop that though. Can I grab him like for 2 seconds?
Of course, we could pause.
Okay. I think he just wanted to see me. I'm back.
Perfect.
I think he
Sorry, I
wanted to
was
see
reading
me.
a text from a client. Okay, I'm trying to think of like where were we? So sorry about that.
Oh, I'm
Let's
sorry.
see. No, you're great. I'm trying to think.
We were just talking about how people kind of can say that facials are floofy.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like people think facials are floofy and they don't do anything. And something I've learned, and I'm sure you've learned this throughout the years, is I can do a heck of a lot with my hands. My hands are like one of my most powerful tools. And I have people that can't afford a laser, or maybe they're not a candidate for a laser, or just their lifestyle or their skin type, whatever it may be. And I can do so much with some facials and sometimes even not even chemical peels, and I can completely transform someone's skin. And I think that it sometimes is a little bit more gratifying. Yes, does it take longer? Is it a lot more work? Do I have to customize a whole entire treatment protocol and then change it 4 times? Yes.
Mhm.
However, like I get someone to the end result, and I also feel like they have their results very long term after that. Do you agree?
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And then bringing that even back to that's why I think combination treatments are so great because you can do a combination treatment and incorporate the facials and then, incorporate the lasers or whatever other modalities or devices that you have. So, you're getting the best of both worlds. And I think that's super important because facials is something that you keep up with and you can do every 4 to 6 weeks, right? You're not always going to be doing lasers every 4 to 6 weeks. So,
Exactly. And we can create a beautiful, healthy foundation. Like, I can't tell you how many, physicians and nurses I've worked with. They're like, yeah, I can shoot up Botox and I can do Sculptra and I can do all these things. But at the end of the day, if their skin health isn't where it needs to be, like, they're not going to be happy.
no.
You have to get the health of your skin at a good, happy, healthy place. So then whenever you're doing your laser, you're doing your Botox, your filler, whatever it is you're choosing to do, you're going to have a foundation to have the best results. I always tell my clients it's kind of like you bought an older house, not calling our skin old, but we're getting older, right? You buy an older house, you fixed up the outside, you
Hmm.
replaced the roof, but you didn't redecorate. So you still have that old 80s tile in there. You got this old like carpet that's got mold, spills, everything, and we're just leaving it. Like to me, that's basically what facials do is they go in and they're your interior decorators and they basically like clean things out and make it to where it's beautiful because at the end of the day, that's the inside, that's the good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a great analogy, actually. I like. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of like really great anti-aging treatments, do you have like a favorite that you love that you think everyone should just do, or?
I mean, I think what's so funny is I feel like you and I love almost all the same things, except for I want to hear about this algae peel on this podcast today because
Oh,
I was looking at that. I'm like, I need that, whatever that is. That's cool. I've been loving, honestly. I mean, I know some people don't love it, but I love the hydrofacial personally. It's extremely popular for me, and I use it with the bio repeal all the time, and I have beautiful results. I've actually, you know what I've been doing, and it's anti-aging, but it also works so well on pigment because I'm in Florida. I deal with pigmentation like
you
crazy.
would, yeah.
I've been taking the Bio Repeal Gold and I will do it in the areas of melasma or scar tissue or maybe that are having some more elasticity.
Hmm.
And I've been putting that just in spot treat areas. Now, yes, they do have a tiny bit of downtime, but oh my gosh, the results are insane. And combining it with a hydrofacial, I'm like, chef's kiss. It's
Nice.
beautiful. And
I like it.
I personally love radio frequency microneedling or any form of microneedling. Honestly, I've seen such beautiful life changing results. And even on myself, like I used to have pitted scarring. And so microneedling changed my life. So I've seen it change others too. What about you? I want to hear yours.
Um, okay, yeah, definitely microneedling has to be up there. I just feel like it's such like a great treatment and anybody can do it. Like I really do think that like all skin types, it's not a lot of downtime. It's an easy way to get really like transformative results. So I think everyone should do it all the time. Like I really honestly think that everyone should get a series of microneedling and then do one or two a year just for upkeep. I think like there's nothing, it's just great for so many different reasons and on so many different levels. I do also love, and I do a lot of bio repeal, and I think it's a great peel. The no downtime it sells like huge, but gives really great results. I actually just posted a before and after of just 3 bio repeals, and like I was blown away, like myself. Sometimes I blow myself away. I'm like, what?
That's amazing. I know sometimes I do stuff and I'm like, oh, okay. Usually that's not normal, but that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And it's like you never know like how somebody's skin is going to react because everyone does react a little different. That's why like posting a before and after, someone might be like, "Oh my gosh, I want to book that," but maybe they don't get the same result in the same amount of time with the same amount of treatments, right? So I hope that people realize that and I try to educate that, but sometimes I like do a treatment and I'm blown away, which is amazing and so great and another reason why I love this industry, but I also think, like, speaking, all chemical peels are really great. Even the light ones that you incorporate into like a regular facial, they have so much benefit. Again, I also really love doing just like deep hydrating facials. I find like hydrating the skin, like sometimes it's just you get that crepiness and those little fine lines, and adding in all that hydration, like just their skin afterward is so plump, and they're just like, oh, all that, like I've literally taken a before and after a facial where I've literally just infused like a ton of hydration, and their forehead lines, like I've zoned in on that little magnifier thingy, and their forehead lines are gone, right? And so
Yes, which is incredible. You like
so
puffed them
good.
up.
Yeah. So I think there's definitely something to be said about just doing a nice deep hydration facial for sure. Of course, obviously lasers I think are great for, deeper lines, deeper wrinkles, but I think if I was really gonna sell one treatment, I just think microneedling fits everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, we lose our collagen starting at 30, like what is it, 1% a year or something?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's crazy.
So just having something I call like collagen, like a retirement account, like we all want to hit retirement in a certain way, right? Like I don't know about you, like in a perfect world, I'd be in Italy, I'd be doing cruise ships, like all the things. So I want my collagen to have the best retirement account, and so I want to constantly be putting into it, and that's what I think microneedling, chemical peels, facials, all those things. It's you're preparing your skin for your basically skin retirement of how it's going to look. Yes, genetics, lifestyle, food, all of
For
that, and
sure.
stress plays a huge role, of course. But that's why microneedling is so incredible is that
Mhm.
you can, just keep adding on that collagen.
Exactly. And there's so many different add-ons and combinations you can do with that again. Like it's so much more than that. It's about what you're using at home. And now, with exosomes and salmon sperm.
Yes, I don't. Have you gotten into the salmon sperm? I have not. Have you?
So, no.
I'm an exosome girly.
Yeah, I've used exosomes in the past and like PRP, PRF with microneedling. I actually offer ProCell microchanneling, which comes with like a stem cell concoction. But then I actually work with a nurse injector. We are separate businesses, but we lease the same space together.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I used to work with her with the plastic surgeon, so I know her well and knew that we would fit. So it's kind of nice. So she offers salmon or PDRN, salmon
She
sperm, yes.
does. Okay,
So
that's cool.
yeah, it is kind of cool. So I've kind of learned about it through that. And like she's always said to me, like if you want to add it onto your microneedling, you can. I haven't yet, but it's huge right now. That's all I hear about.
Yeah, you have to let me know, like, if you get into that. My clients are still like, ew, what is that? Don't put that on my face. So I kind of go, like, I always am like, ooh, I'll do anything, But then as the professional, I'm like, okay, well, if no one else thinks it's cool, I mean, I won't do it.
Apparently it is. Of course, yeah, definitely people are asking, like, what do you mean salmon sperm?
Right? They're like, why? How? Hold on. I know. I love the ones that call it a mermaid facial.
I
I'm
was
like,
kind of
okay,
told that salmon DNA and RNA is very close to human. So that's kind of, and of course, obviously, salmon's very healthy. Like
yes.
eating it is very healthy as well, too. So I'm assuming it's just there the same way as exosomes to boost whatever treatment you're doing and, make your results even better.
Yeah, help with healing, help with the collagen production,
Yeah,
help
exactly.
with minimized downtime. What are your like if you had like your top 3 like favorite products that you use on yourself or you recommend the most to clients? I know that's really hard.
It's
What
so
would you
hard.
recommend?
So I actually think that cleansing is one of the most important steps of your skincare routine. Like, honestly, I would say more than half people, they're not doing it right. They're just not cleansing their skin right. So I really push education on cleansing with my clients, like how double cleansing is important. And it surprises me actually don't, how many people don't actually double cleanse their skin. Like they're just cleansing their skin once after wearing makeup and sunscreen all day, and that's it. And they're like, yeah, and then I'll kind of educate them, you know, we'll do a double cleanse. I'll sell them 2 cleansers. I actually think people should have 3 cleansers. I know that sounds insane.
No, I believe that too, actually. So we're on the same page.
Think that the third cleanser should be a treatment cleanser. So it might not be something that you use every single day. Maybe you use it 2 or 3 times a week, but I think this is just such an underrated step. And people are like, cleanser is not important. Just get whatever one, wash your face. It's all the other stuff. But it's so important because if you're not washing your skin properly and removing everything, all those other products aren't going to do anything.
Right. They're just gonna sit in and try to seep in through sunscreen and makeup and dirt and grime.
Exactly. So definitely cleansing, a good cleanser, and yes, usually multiple. I won't probably start off with 3. I'll be like, okay, let's start with the double cleanse and get you doing that. It might seem a little overwhelming and a little bit much. And from somebody going from using like almost nothing to, 3 cleansers is a little bit insane. I think that's a little bit of an elevated step up, but I do think it's an important part. Obviously, sunscreen. That is just an essential and it's just non-negotiable.
I agree.
But I think every esthetician in the world would tell you that. And I love mineral sunscreens. I love mineral tinted sunscreens, and I think the tinted sunscreens just work that much better. And they're just great because they're going to give you a nice glow, and just give you that little bit of coverage if you need it as well. And there's so many good options now. Sunscreens have come such a long way.
I
There's so
know, such a long way versus before it was like this white, gooby, thick, sticky mess.
And a lot of people still think that. I have lots of people that are like, I don't want to wear sunscreen every time I wear it. It's white. And I'm like, there's so many good ones out right now. Like, let me put you on this. So I think that is definitely a non-negotiable too. I mean, I think vitamin C serum is great, or an antioxidant. I don't like to say just vitamin C serum because some people can't use vitamin C serum. And it's
Right,
not for
right.
everybody, and that's okay. There's so many other ways to get antioxidant protection. There's so many other ingredients that are great or in combination, so you don't need a straight up vitamin C serum necessarily. I know it can be irritating for some people. Actually, a lot of people have told me. So I think it's important that you find something that works for your skin first most. I think that's the most important. But I think those are some kind of non-negotiables or something that I would like to get into at least everybody's routine. Some sort of antioxidant, a great cleansing regime, and definitely SPF.
I agree with all those things. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Like I think you brought so much value. I think this was such an amazing episode. And you guys, I will leave everything with Melissa in the show notes. So you guys go follow her, support her, order her mask if you can, if you're in Canada. I don't know if you ship to the US. I'm like,
Not yet, maybe one day.
maybe one day that'd be really cool. I know I haven't ventured to shipping international yet. I'm like, that looks like way bigger than I want to bite off right now.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. I'm so happy that you asked me to be on here. I was so excited. I feel like just little old me. Like I've been following you forever and you've grown so much. So even though like I don't know you, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so proud of you. Like, whenever I saw you went off on your own, I was like, yes, I was so proud of you. I was like, it's been time. Like, I've been following you and I've been like, okay, when is she going off on her own? Because I know you've been doing this for a long time. And I think you're just going to like shoot off, sweetie. And it just, so many amazing things are going to happen.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Oh, I almost got off the episode where I didn't ask you. So I always ask people and it kind of throws them off guard, but it's kind of what we stand for with Unwritten Beauty Talks is what does beauty mean to you?
That is a loaded question for
It's a really big
sure.
question.
Beauty to me, it comes from inside, 100%. It's not an outside thing. It is definitely an inside thing. And it's just something that you can't make up or I can't throw a cream on. It's something that has to radiate from you. And when you're beautiful inside, you're beautiful outside.
Yes, I agree with that. That was so beautiful. Thank you. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
I'm
so
so
much.
excited I got to
Thank
have you on.